It's another weekend again, and here is Weekend Pay with Uche A Israel. Kindly listen up. Alright, we are in an age where copyright is now a big thing. Like having the copyright, having the right to something is now a big thing. I've been an ebook editor for years, and I sincerely understand it when we talk about copyright ebook. When we talk about written copyright, like your words, the words you write, the kind of style, your style of writing, your paragraphs, and who likes of that. When we talk about copywriting, I sincerely understand it, and that's why we have this thing we call ISBN. It's an international standard book number where a specific code and a specific number that is used to recognize your kind of writing or your books or your paragraph. These are the things that happen secularly, I mean worldwide. It's not peculiar to a certain set of people. It is a worldwide stuff. So if the world can get serious, I mean, if the world can get serious, like the secular world can get serious about copywriting things like artificial things, then it is very necessary, it is expedient that we as human beings have a copyright to ourselves. I mean, have a copyright to our image, our identity, our personality. I'm not talking about, maybe you build a brand, or this is not a brand or maybe a company stuff. I'm talking about you yourself. Most of the time, a lot of things happen to us because we've given the rights to be someone else. You've given your rights. You've given yourself to someone else. A whole lot of things. Sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad. But at the end of everything, it is still you that have the rights to effect those things. It is still you. I mean, you who is the owner of yourself. You are the one that still have the right to these things. I know religious people might come and tell you that, once you give your life to Christ, everything is settled, it takes charge, blah blah blah. If you give your life to Christ, or if you become a religious person, let's even say you're a Muslim, you're in a religion, or maybe you just swear an oath, okay, I now belong to this, they still need your permission, they need your action, they need your movement, they need you to make an action for them to do something to you, which is at this point you need to allow them to do certain things to you. Understanding copyright is a point where or you get to a point where you are totally determined to own your rights. You are totally determined to own yourself, own your decisions, own everything that happens to you, whether good or bad. I've seen a whole lot of people get wealthy, or something good happen to them, and they immediately imagine that, God did. That is why other persons saying that will say, they are questioning God. God, why didn't you make it mine? Quick break. These are the services I offer. Should in case you have any need for the services, just check out 11 in numbers. Choose the one that fits to your request and send me a DM now. Why didn't you make this thing happen to me as well? Why didn't you align things to work in my own way, like in my own favor too? Why didn't you, give me the same kind of blessing? Forgetting the fact that it is what you allow that works. If you give yourself to the process, if you give yourself to the patterns, if you give yourself to the structure that works, it will work. I know it looks too simple. It looks very simple. I mean, it looks very, very simple. But that is just it. Life is not as complicated as we think it is most of the time. Most of the time, you just have to give your rights out. Like your rights. You have the right to decide now that you want to go and sleep. Like you don't want to work for the whole of today. But it is you giving your right out to hard work, to necessities, that is making you not sleep, that is making you not do other things. You are the one in control of it. That's one of the reasons why they've tagged 18 and above as adult, because they've given you almost 2 decades to understand that you are in charge of whatever that is happening to you. Worldwide, they've given you 18 good years to understand that. And some people even realize earlier than that, but just to make things fair enough, they've given you almost 2 decades of your life to understand that decisions you're making are from you. No one can force you to make a decision you don't want to make unless you've allowed them to do that. Yeah, there is forced consent. Like you were forced to give consent, like giving consent under duress, giving consent under peer pressure and the whole likes of that. It is still a matter of allowing something. There's a level of discipline you get to that there are certain things you won't allow, there are certain things you won't even consider, there are certain things you won't give consent to, not because you don't have the ability, not because you don't have the human right to allow it, but you just feel like this thing doesn't have any benefit to me, it doesn't benefit me that much, so I don't think I can give consent to that. I'm not giving consent to this. So for copyright issues, let me also limit it to myself again. If you watch most of my videos, there are some I may use it for, there are some I may. If you watch most of my videos, I don't take the rights of other people's music. There's some music that you use, they will tell you that, oh, it is free, you can just use it. Some it's not copyrighted. It's not copyrighted. You can just use it for free. That's they giving you consent. You can, and there are some they will tell you you use it, but you will give us credit. Like, I mean, we will share from your earnings. Or if they don't want you to use it, they will create a ban in a way that they are the only one that can use it. They are the only one. They have the exclusive right to use it. I'll still give a more detailed, I'll still give a more detailed view, or let's say words or explanation regarding rights. That is even why we have what we call the human rights. The human rights organizations, we have the worldwide human rights organizations, we have the ones that are limited to every sovereign state, every sovereign country, every sovereign geographical location. They have human rights institutions. That is to tell you that everyone has a right. Everyone has a right to something. Everyone has a right. Everyone has the capacity to determine what happens to them. So, in whatever situation you are, in whatever circumstance you are, your life is still in your hands. If God wants to help you today, He requires your permission. He requires your yes. Oh, you can help me. Fine. And most of the time, I feel like a whole lot of people feel like once you've prayed about it, or once you start saying, doing religious things, maybe like saying some words of prayer, or maybe quoting some scriptures, or doing some religious prayers, or doing some occultic stuff, then it is settled. You don't need to do anything, just watch things happen, just watch miracles happen. No, a whole lot of people that use charms, that use voodoo, that do a whole lot of mystical, or let's say spiritual things, they have to do something before those things work. Just like having a gun, having an ammunition with you. You have AK-47, you have assault rifles, you have a whole lot of things with you, and you don't ignite it, you don't shoot, you don't use it, it will not work. It will not work. Those things need your permissions to work. They need your trigger. They need you to trigger them to work. That is why, as an adult, a whole lot of responsibilities are on you, and one of the primary responsibility is consent. Is consent. You give consent to things. You give rights to things. You allow things happen to you. You allow things happen to you. Once you decide that I don't want to allow this thing happen to me again, it is your right. You've said it. Whatever that comes out of it, you take it. If it's a bad decision you're making, whatever that comes out of it, you take it. I appreciate some of these Nigerian actors. There's one movie I watched recently from Maurice Sam. It talks about with borrowed life. I think it's a borrowed life, if I'm not mistaken. It's a very recent movie, just this February. A Borrowed Life. He talked about, the movie explained how a young guy, it described a character where a young guy who is struggling to help his family, he lost his job and started struggling. A whole lot of things happened. He became so poor that his old time friend, like his old school friend, came and introduced him to an occultic, gathering where he had to swear an oath to not help his family even if he gets rich. He got very wealthy, I mean extremely wealthy, but at the end of the day, it all ended in shackles. it all ended in smokes. Like it all ended as chaff. That was his decision. This is not about, oh, God will not be happy, your creator will not be happy, your ancestors will be sad. No. Before your ancestors get sad, the decision is still on you. It is still on you who is the primary, outlook of the whole thing. It is still on you. So whatever thing you want to do today, understand. Before you start thinking of, oh, the consequences, God being involved, one deity being involved, ancestors, blah blah blah, remember or put it to mind first that, oh, this thing is a product, or like is an action that would bring about a consequence. It's still within my power, within my jurisdiction, within my command for it to happen. I hope this helped someone. If this helped you, kindly share.